Hey guys, what's poppin'? I don't have any new buckets for you this week, but a couple weeks after Masters of the Universe left theaters, I noticed my local Imagine still had some Battle Cats, so I picked one up here to share on the channel. Usual disclaimer, I don't really know anything about Masters of the Universe or He-Man as a fan, so if I say anything stupid, pardon me. But with that said, let's get to the lab and talk about this thing. For starters, quality. This thing is both big and loud. It's about 16 inches long and it's heavy, good quality plastic. I can't figure out who made it, but they definitely didn't skimp on materials. This feels like a heavy duty collectible or toy, not a cheap popcorn bucket. And the details do not disappoint. From the pink in Battle Cat's mouth to his golden stripes and green fur, this whole thing screams 80s nostalgia. And what's even more impressive is that it does not have the same visual flaws that we tend to see in larger buckets and cups. For example, the themes are well disguised, and there's no legalese cluttering up the surface like we saw with the Sword Zipper. I did run into a funny problem that was almost a catastrophe. On Battle Cat's belly, where the Masters of the Universe logo is printed, that piece is completely separate from the rest of the bucket, meaning that with just a little bit of pressure, it pops out, and there's a small hole in the bottom. When I was initially doing this review, I thought this was a feature. I thought they designed the bucket with a water pass-through to make cleaning easier. However, when I tried to put Battle Cat back together, I discovered the truth. That piece was never designed to come out, and it does not go back in very easily. We had to use a fair bit of pressure and some warm water to put it back in place. So just to be on the safe side, I would leave this piece in place even when cleaning it, and maybe avoid running water directly into the cavity to prevent the piece from popping out unintentionally. The only real downside I can see for this is the practicality. It does open easily enough and it would hold a ton of popcorn, but that's because the legs and the head are all hollow. Anything you put into this bucket will be extremely hard to get out, unless you have fingers like spaghetti noodles. In fact, this bucket perfectly exemplifies a phenomenon I've come to see, where the lower the practicality score of a bucket, the higher the X factor, and that's definitely true here. My mom went to pick this thing up for me, and her response was, "Wow." She had no idea that this thing could be considered a popcorn bucket. And that's frankly because that's not really what it is. It's a very well-made statue, and I could see a comic shop or a toy store charging way more than $50 for something similar. So, like I said, this bucket has a very high X factor, and it perfectly exemplifies that the lower the practicality, the cooler a bucket tends to be. Now for the rating. And this one comes with a little bit of an asterisk. If we weren't able to fix Battle Cat after popping that piece out, we would have given it a much lower rating. But like I said, we were able to address that with just some heat and some elbow grease. So no harm, no foul. The fact of the matter is, that little misstep aside, this bucket is absolutely incredible. One might even call it an incredible bucket. Well, that's it guys for today's review. If you enjoyed the review, like it here on YouTube. If you really enjoyed it, subscribe and join the Bucket Brigade today. This is Josh saying thank you.